Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another Movie Nights movie review. Today we are talking about Conclave. This movie is directed by Edward Berger, and I mean this in the most highly complimentary way possible. It's basically Gossip Girl in the Vatican. And when I tell you that this movie had me completely enthralled from start to finish, I love this movie. I thought it was excellent. My only real complaint with it is that the pacing was a bit off in the second act. I think the first and third act are really great. The pacing in the second act was a little bit off. That, and I think there are a couple repeated dramatic beats that were just like, okay, we kind of know what this is about here. We can move on. But literally, other than that, amazing script. This movie's rated PG. This is the most intense PG movie I've ever watched.
Really intense.
It's so intense. And the performances, oh my God, Ray Fiennes, John Lithgow, everyone in this movie is fantastic.
Tucci gang. Come on.
Stanley Tucci, yes.
Tucci, come on.
Listen, this might be unprofessional to say in a review. The memes that this movie is producing are incredible. I'm loving every Conclave meme I've ever seen. But it's all because I want to emphasize this movie is great.
It's really good.
It's such a wonderfully told story about something that I wouldn't think I find fascinating, but you just do. And it's one of those things where you can take any concept, and if it's written really well and executed perfectly in the direction, which Edward Berger does fantastically, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be enthralling. And every second of the movie, I was in. I was in on the drama, on the tea. I'm like, I want to know what this guy said. I want to know what this priest said. Oh, did this priest fuck up? What's going on here? And just the depthness of the characters too. Like Ray Fiennes is kind of going through a crisis of faith when the Pope dies, and now he's responsible for the conclave. So you have someone who was kind of asking themselves, do I even want to be a part of this? Then thrust with the biggest responsibility of a lifetime in that world. And
the horrors of middle management.
Yes, exactly. And that plays so great throughout the film. And even the other characters. Oh, John Turturro, we also didn't mention, who is a vaping priest, and it's beautiful.
Not John Turturro.
It's not John Turturro?
Oh.
Who is it?
It is Sergio Castellitto.
Literally, until this moment, I thought that was John Turturro. That's unbelievable. Guys, it was Sergio Castellitto. I am sorry for thinking you were John Turturro, but you looked very similar.
Someone just rewatched The Batman.
Yeah. But listen, vaping priest, fantastic, great character as well. And also just the morality complex that it sets up with the potential candidates, I thought was also really interesting.
Well, I mean, the whole thing that like Ray Fiennes or Stanley Tucci says, one of them was like, no sane man wants to be Pope. So now he just has to go through all of these people's skeletons to figure out essentially who's the least bad Pope.
Yeah.
Which is a funny thing to say, but yeah, it's just sort of this greater story of like, well, no one's perfect, so how do you decide that, especially in like a religious context? What is good, what is bad? Yeah.
And I also love how each person pretends that they don't want to be the Pope, but you can tell they all fucking want to be the Pope.
Yeah, so, like even Stanley Tucci, who doesn't want to do it, but he hated the other candidates so much, is like, but if I was Pope, it'd be pretty
it'd be a lot better. And cool. And just seeing them go through that, it's kind of like whenever, like, you did a great job on something, it's like, you did so good, and you're like, what? No, come on. It's just the people doing that, but doing it at the top acting notch that you could. But like the twists and turns that the story had too, just with John Lithgow's character, with a ton of things that we're not going to spoil. The revelations and the reveals that it would bring, I thought were really interesting. There's another actor. I think
my favorite thing is that that all these priests are essentially sequestered, right, to select the new pope, and Ray Fiennes' character, Cardinal Lawrence, has like an outside guy who keeps bringing him information, and every time he goes to him, he's like, "What's the tea?" And he goes, "I shouldn't know this. I'm in a conclave." And then he walks away, and then like 20 minutes would go by, and then they're meeting again, and he goes, "What's the tea?" And he goes, "I shouldn't know this. I'm in a conclave."
No,
and then he walks away, and it's just this like repeating gag almost.
And here's the thing: you say that, and as an audience member, you might be thinking, "Oh, that sounds kind of dumb." When I tell you it works so fucking well in the movie, and you're totally
like
on
every time
Ray
that guy
Fiennes'
shows
side.
up, you're like, Oh, it's about to go down.
Yeah, you're like, fuck yeah, let me know what's going on. But another
What did
actor,
he find out?
another actor I wanted to point out was Lucian Msamati. Sorry if I pronounced that incorrectly. There's an amazing thing going on with his character as well. That was a huge twist and turn in the movie that I thought was really interesting. And I also want to talk about kind of the quote unquote twist ending of the movie. Because I'd heard that there was a twist. It's more of a reveal. It's more of a reveal at the end of the movie. And personally, and I know that we kind of disagree slightly, not fully, but slightly on this, I love this reveal. And there are going to be Catholic purists who watch this movie who probably don't love the reveal. But I, for the purposes of the storytelling, really loved this reveal because I think at the end of the day, Ray Fiennes' character is just struggling with the idea of the pressure of, am I making the right choice? And the reveal at the end completely recontextualizes, what does the right choice mean? That does not give the reveal away at all. You're never going to guess what it is. Although I loved it because it made me feel stupid because they set it up like 3 times and it went right over my head. And I was like, God damn it, I missed it. That was so good how they did that. But
Oh, I don't think I caught on to any of the foreshadowing.
Yeah, but thinking back on it now, do you realize when they were doing it?
Mm-mm.
Okay, I'll tell you after. I don't want to spoil it, but
yeah. I will say. Oh, go ahead, finish your thought on it.
Oh, no, I was just gonna say I enjoyed the reveal, and it is late in the movie, and I know that there's like some people who think like, oh, it doesn't really add anything. I thoroughly disagree. I think it really helps complete Ray Fiennes' arc. But anyway, go on to your thoughts on the reveal, sir.
Yes. I didn't. I like the reveal, and I love the concept of the reveal, and I do agree with you that it does help to complete his arc. I just felt like it was included too late in the movie, whereas I find the concept of the reveal. I think that with a movie that had as good of a script as this, that reveal and letting us get dialogue, surrounding that and debate and such, I think would have been far more interesting than it just sort of being a tag on at the end. Because had they not included it, I still feel like the movie was over and ended and did what it wanted to do.
I kind of see, I see the argument. Tiptoeing here to avoid spoilers. Do you think of something, if it was revealed before a particular vote, that maybe it would have had more weight?
I think so.
Okay. That's fair. Like, I don't know if I personally agree, but I could definitely see that avenue being like a different storytelling possibility for the same end goal. Like, I guess
that is the thing of, making a new movie out of it, because that's not what this movie was, but I was so impressed by the script and the performances that I think that it just also, shout out to someone when we didn't mention, was Carlos Diegz. He plays another cardinal that does a fantastic job as well.
Amazing job. But
I just think overall, to me, the movie had wrapped off, and they were like, "Oh, also," and I was like, "Okay, I enjoyed this. I think it's a cool concept," but I was like, I wanted more from it,
Yeah, I completely understand what you're saying. It worked for me, but what you're saying completely makes sense. But yeah, this is also one that I find myself revisiting easily, just because of the journey. I will say the pacing in the first and third act are brilliant. I do think it stumbles a bit in the second act, but like it was schmoving and grooving like in the first and third acts. And something happens where something big happens in the movie that if you told me before, I would have been like, oh, that seems kind of cheap and cop-outy. Totally worked for me. Totally worked. Something that has to do, to not spoil, something that has to do with something going on outside of the actual.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That worked for me. I saw some people saying it didn't work for them. Completely disagree. But yeah, sorry, it's hard to tiptoe around these without spoil. You don't want this movie spoiled. Please, you don't want this movie spoiled. But guys, when you've seen Conclave, what did you think about it? I'd love to see your thoughts in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you on the next one.